Congress is set to return from its summer recess tomorrow. On top of urgent deadlines to keep the government funded and raise the debt ceiling, well, Congress also has to tackle Harvard recovery efforts, tax reform, funding for Obamacare premiums, and much, much more. And if recent history tells us anything, we know that it will all go just awesome. Congressman, we're going to start with you first. A little sarcasm there, but I know that you have some insight on this, so please share.
I think what's going to happen, the House has put out notice. They're actually going to vote earlier than they were planning to. So before noon on Wednesday morning, they're supposed to vote on Harvey relief. My guess is, as best I can tell, talking to colleagues on the Hill, is that there will be a clean package that they will vote on. It will then go over to the Senate. Unfortunately, I think the Senate will attach debt ceiling and maybe some other stuff that I wish they wouldn't do. And then that will come back over to the House of Representatives, but they'll get that kicked off. I worry that there's only 12 legislative days on the calendar. 6 of those are fly-in and fly-out days, but they've got to tackle a lot of other things. I do think they're going to get a short-term funding package together, probably another short-term. Honestly, I don't believe the major issues will be up for final vote until December.
That's Harvey relief.
That's just the reason. I think the Harvey relief will happen.
Okay.
And that should get done in the first 2.5 weeks. Okay. But the rest of it, I think, gets punted, and then we're into Christmas time.
Okay. That's helpful. Beverly, you also have insight?
Yeah, probably against my better judgment, I'm going to predict a legislative victory for the GOP in the fall. I think tax reform, we're going to see a lot of movement on it. There's been already a lot of movement in the House Ways and Means Committee. They've been hammering out details behind the scenes, even in the past few months. They've taken out the border adjustment tax, which some senators, Senator Tom Cotton, had some issues with. So I think because the president needs a legislative victory and the Republicans really want to push something forward, I think tax reform is where we're going to see it. And I think legislatively, that's what they're going to tackle after Harvey funding, debt ceiling, and budget.
Harlan, let me ask you, the Dems have also wanted tax reform. Do you think they will cut off their nose to spite their face politically in terms of fighting President Trump and his administration around these tax reform initiatives?
The Democrats are going to come to the table.
Okay, good.
I mean, they care less about policy and ideology than they do defeating the president of the United States. Because if they really cared about their constituents, they would come to the table to resolve problems with our infrastructure. And the president's in line with Democrats there. They would come to the table to resolve problems with Obamacare premiums growing out of control and coverage being not where it should be. But we've seen that the establishment on both sides of the party, or both sides of the aisle, are totally unwilling or incapable of governing. And they're going on undeserved vacations, while millions of Americans can't even afford to pay for their health care, let alone go on a vacation. I mean, those are the people that I talk to.
Right.
And they've had enough. They just want relief.
Absolutely.
This is what they were sent to Washington to do.
Kat, you know, you spoke about, I believe it was you earlier, that they should have come back early at this point. So they're coming back tomorrow. What do you want to see them do first after Harvey?
Tax reform. I think that's what they should do first. And then they're going to add on, I guess they have 6 months to solve immigration as well on top of everything. But I'm in general sick of all the whining of certain Republicans saying, yeah, well, I can't because President Trump did this, and certain, but the Democrats did this, and Democrats saying, oh, well, Trump. Stop whining. Yeah, your job's hard. That's why you have to go through all of this to be elected. That's why we're not all in Congress all the time. Stop whining, get to work, and get it done, because American people don't feel bad for you, especially when, I mean, I would love to have a vacation.
Well, Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell.
It's Labor Day. We're all here.
Are you announcing a candidate?
I could have been
a hell of a stump speech, Kat.
It's not a very nice day outside, but I could still be drinking beer, but I'm not because I'm at work, so I don't feel bad for you. Get to work.
Mitch McConnell announced in July that they were going to stay deeper into August because there was so much on the agenda. They couldn't even live up to that promise because they adjourned early. These are district work periods. I know a lot of members work hard, listen to their constituents. They do some very important things. But there is so much onto the agenda. The House has passed 4 of the 12 appropriations bills. I think you'll see them coupled together with the other 8, and that consolidated appropriations package, which should come up in the first week or two, will get then over to the Senate, where all good things go to linger. So that's what
let me ask you this, Congressman, because, you've literally been there, and I know you can't speak for all of your colleagues, but can you give us a little bit of insight? As Kat's point, and Harlan's as well, it's well taken. People are frustrated, and they're tired, and this is why you've seen change candidates do so well here. What's going on in the psyche of the congressmen and women that go on vacation knowing so much is to be done?
I think there's a lot of frustration in the House because there are literally more than 200 bills that have passed the House that are now over in the Senate. And what also drives us crazy is when the bill goes over to the Senate. Remember on the health care vote? That wasn't a vote on final package. a passage. That was a vote on should we debate it?
Have the debate.
Should we have the discussion? Should we allow members to offer amendments and have a vote? And when you don't even vote, that's what drives everybody crazy, including the current members of Congress.
Yeah.
And I would love to see President Trump come out and really lead the narrative on tax reform and explain why it's so important. Stay away from some of the tweets that get you into trouble and stay on the tax reform message. And I think that would be a winner for them.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things where running for office seems to be one thing, getting elected seems to be another, but actually governing, actually doing the work of coming together and spending that political capital to get stuff passed for the people that put you there seems to be a bit more challenging.